Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ken O'Neill, and this is Commissioner's Corner. And today we are speaking with the president of the Expedition League, Steve Wagner. Steve, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Ken. I appreciate it.
Now, we've been speaking with leagues all across the country. And what's amazing to me is how many leagues there are, how many teams there are. They're all over the league. You started your league at when, and how is it going this year?
Yeah, so I started the Expedition League about 5 years ago, and the first 3 years were building the league. So that involved identification of key markets, negotiating ballpark leases, securing team owners and ownership groups, and also just getting visibility into each of the communities. So 2018 was our inaugural season. We started with 8 teams last year, 2 teams in North Dakota, 3 teams in South Dakota, 2 teams in Nebraska, and a team over in Casper, Wyoming. This year is our second year. We've added 2 expansion affiliates, the team in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada, the Weed City Whiskey Jacks, and the Fremont Moo in Fremont, Nebraska. So we're currently at 10 teams.
So the Fremont, they're not the moose, they're the moo?
Oh, they're not the moose, they're the moo. Yeah, a lot of cows, a lot of cattle down that way, so it's really caught on. That's been a fantastic team name and logo, and the fans love it. So it's really been an exciting thing down there, and yeah, there's a lot of cattle down there, so it works out perfectly.
With the 8 teams and now the expansion, how do you get the players with all those leagues? How do you get the players to come to your league?
Sure, it's there's a lot of recruiting that goes on. Obviously, we have our head coaches of each of our teams that are very, very involved in the recruiting process. Our general managers get involved in that. We have folks at the league offices that play a part in that as well. And one of the things that I've just been really, really pleased with, Ken, is the quality of players that we've gotten in our league. Last year is our inaugural season. The talent level was amazing. And this year we've taken a significant step up in talent as well. And it's really all about providing a great experience for players. These college coaches entrust us with their kids, their players. We provide a great environment for them. We play in front of large fans in great, great ballparks. Give them that real minor league type of experience. We play a lot of baseball games over a 74-day window. And we treat the players extremely well. No player fees in our league. They stay with host families. We treat the kids very, very well. And so we've had tremendous success recruiting outstanding ball players across the U.S. and into Canada.
Now you have teams, one in Canada, and then you have South Dakota. How is the travel for that? Because you're going for a number of states.
Yeah, it's not too bad, Ken. So what we have is, for example, our northernmost team is the team in Manitoba, the Weed City Whiskey Jacks in Brandon, Manitoba. And our southernmost team is Hastings, Nebraska. That's a long drive. However, we have a lot of teams located between those 2 destinations. So there are a lot of teams that are 2.5 to 3 hours away from the next closest team, and then another couple of hours beyond that. So we do a very meticulous job of scheduling so that our road trips encompass the least amount of travel possible. Each of our teams incurs anywhere from 6,000 to 7,000 miles per summer over that 64-game schedule. And we've done a really nice job of kind of shrinking that. So the beauty of it is with teams in North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, and then the team in Brandon, Manitoba is only 60 miles north of the North Dakota border. So it allows us to schedule really well. And also we have 2 divisions. We have the Lewis division and the Clark division, and we play our schedules more heavily within each of the divisions, which allows us to cut down on travel and really manage travel very well doing that as well.
Now, how did you determine how many games to play? Because some play in their 40s, one is 72. How did you determine what your league is going to play? How many games?
Yeah, we really looked at, as we were forming the league, we really looked at the right number of games. We wanted them to play a lot of baseball, typically 1 off day every week or 2. And we wanted that minor league-like experience, which is, you're playing a lot of games over the course of a season. So 64 felt right to us. It gives every team 32 home dates between late May and early to mid-August. And it's a busy schedule, believe me. These guys really cherish their off days, but it's a good number of games. It's worked out well for us. It's worked out well for all of our owners. It gives our teams a great opportunity to generate revenue which allows us to pull in these large crowds that we're able to attract into our ballparks.
Now, how is the attendance and how is the community? How does the community become involved in the league and in teams?
Sure. We really get the community involved. We want each and every community to really embrace the teams and have the teams be their own. And we've seen that across the league where communities have just completely embraced and gotten excited about their local team. And so that's been a really great experience for us, Ken. And that's what we wanted. And the way we start that process is early on when we announce the team, which is typically 9 to 12 months before that next season, we get the community involved in naming the team, helping to kind of design the logo, if you will, and really become a part of it from the very outset of when we announce the team in that community so that they really feel like it's their team, and that's what we want to achieve. And we get very involved in local charitable organizations and nonprofits as well. So that's really important to us to get ingrained in the community. We have year-round front office staff, so we're in the community day in, day out. We're talking about baseball in the middle of winter. When the snow is up to your armpits, we're talking baseball. So it's a great opportunity for us to always be in front of our great fans across the league all year round, and that really helps the communities to embrace what we're doing.
So you're saying that the people of Spearfish picked Sasquatch as their name? Is that what you're saying?
They helped in that process. So it's interesting. We always have a feel for what we think will be a good team name, but we get the community involved in voting and helping to kind of pick the name that they really like. And, they do get very involved in that process. So we've got some pretty cool team names and logos across the league. We spend a lot of money on those sorts of things because that's branding, right? So that's very important to us, and that's why we sell hats and apparel and merchandise across the country and into Canada, is because people really have loved the names that we've chosen. But the people of Spearfish got very involved in the name Sasquatch, so that was pretty cool.
Now, as far as the playing of the game itself, as you well know, in the major leagues now, a pitcher goes 5 innings, they got to have 4 innings of relief pitching. How do the coaches deal with that? You got to have a certain amount of pitches. You got to have. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, we're very, very delicate with all of our players, especially pitchers. And to your point, Ken, the game has changed a lot. If you remember the old days, like I do, pitchers went 8 innings. If your starter didn't go 8 innings, you were disappointed. Now, if a starter goes 5 innings, it's a success, right? So we follow pitch smart guidelines in our league. So we're very careful. If there's a certain number of pitches that our starters can throw, a certain number of pitches that a pitcher can throw, and then that determines when he can throw next. For example, if he throws more than 30 pitches, he has to take at least a day off. Those sorts of things. Starting pitching, our starting pitchers can only throw 105 pitches per game. Those sorts of guidelines, which we're very careful of. So prime example here in Brandon, Manitoba, where I happen to be today, the Whiskey Jacks starting pitcher went 5 innings last night, and the reliever actually went 4, which is unusual. That is unusual.
It's unusual, yes.
You bet, because usually what you have is hopefully you get 5 out of your starter, and then you have 3 or 4 guys that fill in those last 4 innings. So it's, half of our roster is we have a 30-man roster. 14, 15, 16 of those guys are pitchers, which allow us to be able to, to kind of piece those games together, because that's really what it's become. The days of a guy going 8 or 9 innings are over, and so you do need to be very, very careful with your pitching, and then you need to be thinking 2 or 3 or 4 days down the road too, right? Because you might have you've kind of set your rotation up for the next series. And so there's a lot of factors that go into it. Our coaches are outstanding at managing our pitching.
Well, it sounds like things are going very well for you. How about, do we have anything like the extra inning rule now, where you put the guy on second base in the 10th inning or whenever it is, and then you go from there? Do you use wood bats? What kind of bats do they use for your league?
You bet. Yeah, we're a wood bat league. Again, we want to emulate minor league baseball in every sense of the word, and so our guys are using wood bats. And that, that's, to me, that's baseball, right? To hear the crack of the bat, not the ping of the aluminum.
I agree with that 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we love it. The players love it. And again, we're preparing them for, to hopefully get drafted and play professional baseball. So it really goes well. We really, I love it. And I think our players have really embraced it too. And it's great for the fans. Again, it's minor league baseball. And so to use wood bats has been a tremendous experience for all of our teams and players.
Now, how are the Hub City Hotshots doing this year?
They're doing pretty well. The town of Aberdeen, South Dakota is about 30,000 people. It's just a perfect sized community for what we do.
And what is the hat you have on now?
Oh, this is the Weed City Whiskey Jacks. Since I'm in Brandon, I like to wear the hat of the team that where I happen to be that day. So I threw my Whiskey Jacks hat on today. Great logo. The community loves what we've done with the name. And when they voted here, 90% of the people voted for Whiskey Jacks. And so it's been very, very popular here in Brandon, Manitoba.
Well, perhaps you could send me a hat.
I can. Absolutely. You tell me which team you want, Ken, and I'll get it to you.
All right, terrific. Okay, one last question for you, and that is, this is the second year you've been in operation. How does it look for the future? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, outstanding. So what when I identified this region, Ken, as ripe for summer collegiate baseball, I wasn't thinking about 8 teams or 10 teams. I was thinking about a couple of dozen teams, and we have that available to us in this region. So we will continue to expand strategically and do it well. Probably at a pace of 2 or 4 teams as we move forward. We've already announced the Rapid City Jackalopes for 2020. So that will be an additional team for the 2020 season. We're working on several others, and we will definitely grow strategically. We had tremendous success in our inaugural season last year. We drew 160,000 fans across the league. So we had a really, really nice season. This year, our target and our goal is 225 to 250,000 people. And we're well on our way, and I think we'll do that. It's an aggressive goal, but I feel confident we'll get there. And I know throughout the region where we are, I've identified 30 communities that will be what I feel to be good communities for summer collegiate baseball in the Expedition League. So we'll continue to expand. Again, we'll do it carefully and strategically, but we're definitely in a growth mode. So it's an exciting time for our league for sure.
Well, we'd like to say that we are speaking with the president of the Expedition League, Steve Wagner. And Steve, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it. We will keep up with you, and hopefully the league does very successful in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. I appreciate you taking time for me and look forward to talking to you again soon.